Welcome to Sara Gonzales Unfiltered. We got a packed show here, so let's introduce our panel, one of whom I'm about to kick off the show. But we've got Steve Baker, Blaze Media's very own investigative journalist. It's not you, Steve.
Okay.
It's not you. It is, of course, our resident troublemaker, Matthew Marsden, Blaze TV contributor. And you know what? I'm just going to call you actor and producer. I'm not going to call you extraordinaire.
Oh.
You're just an actor
And I
and
bought,
producer,
can I
not
just tell you, I
extraordinary.
bought you a gift as well. I bought you both a gift today.
What?
Don't look like that.
I don't like surprises on my show. Oh, cool. Look, it's a Matt Marsden.
No, you didn't.
beanie.
Yes, I did it. Merry Christmas, little children.
That's so cool. It's-
Now you have to take it back and
I know. Actor and producer extraordinaire,
There you
Matthew
go.
Marsden.
There it is.
Can people buy this?
Not yet, but soon.
Okay.
Let
me know when.
I would never compete with the Sarah merch.
Oh, yeah. SarahMerch.com. Go. No, can we get him, please? Sara Gonzales Unfiltered cup. MAGA Moms Club cup. SarahMerch.com. There you go. Thank you. All right. We do have a lot to get into, so I want to get to it. And I want to briefly, not to bring the mood down, but I do want to briefly mention the 3 dead in the school shooting at Abundant Life Christian School in Madison, Wisconsin. Obviously, this is a quickly developing situation. It just happened today. As of the time of this taping, which in situations like these, it can easily change very quickly. But here's what we know. This is a school, a small private school that teaches K through 12 students. Police said one of the dead is a teenager believed to be the shooter at the school. And a teacher and another teenage student were killed in the shooting. The shooter ended up killing himself with a 9mm weapon. 2 students are in critical condition. 6 students overall, we believe, are hurt. And the last press conference, the police chief would not say the name or gender of the teenage student who is believed to have committed the crimes. So that is what we know as of the time of this taping. I don't care to spend a lot of time speculating so quickly after finding out that parents are about to bury their children right before Christmas. And so that is all I care to share at this moment, other than our prayers and thoughts are with all of those affected. So obviously we'll stay up to date on the latest and bring it to you at the appropriate time. So let's switch gears here and talk about the drone situation. Very strange. There's a lot of what I would believe to be misinformation floating around about what's going on. And the sad part is we can't trust our own government to provide us with the truth, because they are, of course, either too corrupt and liars to provide us the truth, or too incompetent to provide us the truth. That's what I go back and forth with. Or both, which is the worst case scenario and the most likely scenario as well.
It is.
So yesterday you had DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas lying to CNN's Wolf Blitzer while I think he was, here's where the incompetent part comes on, trying to be like, no, there's no reason to be nervous. Everything is totally fine. Watch.
Let me calm those nerves. We have not seen anything unusual. We have not seen any unusual activity. We know of no threat. We know of no nefarious activity. I want to repeat that. We have not seen anything unusual. We know of no threat or of any nefarious activity. And let me explain. People are reporting sightings of drones. It is very common for individuals who think they see drones to actually see small aircraft, and we have a case of mistaken identity.
Okay. Before we go on with what else we have, can I get from the actor, on a scale of 1 to 10, how believable was what he just said?
Oh, it's like a 0. I mean, it's you know what gets me about this? I thought we were over this after COVID. Like, you know, you don't understand what you've seen. You don't know what a 747 looks like. You might have confused it with a drone that disappears in front of your eyes. Like, it's literally, these aren't the drones you're looking for.
I want to introduce you to the Mayorkas line.
Don't you dare! Don't you dare! That is so wrong.
So let's go through some of the other, what's taken place just over the weekend. So December 13th and 14th, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton, Ohio was shut down due to several different shapes and sizes of these unmanned aircraft systems, which, if you listen to Mayorkas, he just told us it's totally normal, nothing to see here, except they're shutting down their Air Force Base. And I want to play some of the audio from the air traffic control. Watch.
Med Flight 8 Patterson Tower, use extreme caution for heavy UAS movement on the base. Security forces is handling the situation.
That doesn't
Suggest
seem
at or
normal.
above 1700 AGL. Your transition is still approved. However, Patterson class Delta is sterilized as of 0330 Zulu for heavy unknown UAS activity. Security forces is handling it, and Columbus is going to sterilize the airspace after you leave the Delta.
Sterilize the airspace after you leave.
Roger that, no problem. Thank you.
Notice though he didn't say what it was.
All aircraft use extreme caution. Patterson class Delta is now closed for heavy UAS activity.
Now, this is, I would like to point out, a major U.S. base and target because it's an Air Force Research Lab and Intelligence Center. Not that I have any PTSD from things of that nature, but Friday night, again, nothing to see here. This is all routine. This is all totally normal. You guys are the ones actually blowing out of proportion. Oh, well, New York Governor Kathy Hochul actually shut down one of their airports, New York Stewart International Airport, and called for federal assistance, saying this has gone too far. So let's talk about what could be potentially going on, knowing that we can't trust, of course, the government experts. So I want to get into that. First, I want to remind you guys, if you are watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Check and see if you're unsubscribed, because they tend to do that a lot with this channel in particular. Make sure to like the show and comment. It will help us in the algorithm as well, which we all know is stacked against us. And by the way, subscribe to Matt Marsden's channel as well.
Please do.
It's, what is it?
Matthew D. Marsden. Matthew D. Marsden.
I hate how fancy you sound when you talk. Anyway, so let's get into these theories here. So theory 1, military. These are military drones just investigating nuclear waste. Does that hit anyone? No. Okay. Well, that's one of them, because they say there was a new Nuclear Regulatory Commission report from December 3rd. This is a tweet from Benny Johnson that reported radioactive material that was lost in transit in New Jersey on December 2nd. And it said it arrived at the destination damaged and empty, and the material event contains less than a Category 3 level of radioactive material. And some are saying, the drones are dispatched because they're trying to cover up a second East Palestine event. You say it's BS.
It was a medical device about the size of a pen. It was not a dangerous weapon. That's just where I'm starting.
So that report was potentially...
If you go back to Mayorkas, I mean, what he said that was wrong and where his line of BS presented itself was when he said that there was no threat. The threat is the government itself. That's what he's covering up for, is what their intent is right now, what's taking place. I'll go as far as you want me to go, Sarah.
Keep going. I'm not going to stop you. Please keep going. Well, hold on. I do want to just tell the audience. Steve was like, "Oh, I've got him. I've got him." And I'm like, "Well, can you share it with me?" He's like, "No, I'm going to wait until your show." So I literally have no idea what he's about to say. Please tell me.
All right. So the last time I was in D.C., I was sitting before a judge, but that's another story. But the time before that, I was sitting at dinner with a guy who had a windbreaker on, and the windbreaker had a really nice logo on it, which said Switchblade 300. I said to him, "What's a Switchblade 300? Oh, it's an attack drone that I happen to be one of the engineers, in development on." And I'm like, "Well, tell me all about this, Switchblade 300. So this was back when we were still investigating the assassination attempts, and we were really worried about the security that was being provided for the president at the time. And we knew that their biggest fear, because we had heard it from a lot of people like Eric Prince and others, that their biggest fear were these attack drones. And we're not talking about the little buzzy kind of drones with cameras on them. We're talking about drones that are launched from mortars that can travel at 200 miles per hour. They can be set up as little as a mile away from the target. So think about Butler, PA. They had a perimeter that was like, 100 yards out from the president. Yeah. And somebody could just park their car, open the trunk, pull out one of these drones, if they can acquire one. They're expensive. They're about $90,000 per unit. We sell them overseas. So if they get onto the black market, they could be sold back, or they could make their way back over here. Oh, are we showing pictures of one now? So these drones, according to the experts, the Secret Service has no defense against them. Now, why would I say that on the air? It's because get a defense against them, okay? Because this technology exists. More importantly, the particular person that I spoke to about the current situation that's going on, emphatically, he said this has nothing to do with searching for a nuclear weapon or radioactivity of any kind. He said, my best friend is the guy in the Special Forces community that is in charge of that. And he's laughing at these reports coming out saying, no, he said, if that was happening, I would be there. I would be on the ground. This is not what happened. Plus, those drones, they're flying them from like 6 o'clock at night to 11 p.m.
Yeah, why would that be?
Okay, so if they were actually looking for a dangerous threat, why would they not be in the air for 24 hours a day? Okay, just start there.
Right.
So the obvious question, follow-up question, is to an actual expert in this field is, what the hell are they doing then? I asked him days ago, why aren't we shooting them down? And he was like, And then when I asked him this morning, what is going on? He said, it's no more complicated than this. He said, there were testing, they were at those Air Force bases, or those military bases rather, that they were being launched from. There was testing going on. They were just doing typical exercises. He said it lasted for about 2 weeks. That ended on December 1st or December 3rd. And he said, but the reason why they're continuing is they found out that they were eliciting enough fear and enough reaction from the legislators in D.C. to elicit a negative reaction from them because, and this is where he dropped the bomb, and this is a guy from the IC community. He said DHS, Homeland Security, and the FAA Aviation, Federal Aviation, they want to limit private individuals' access and use of drones. The best way to do that is to create fear, problem, reaction, solution, scenario. Create a problem, get a reaction from the government and the people of fear, get the legislators as well. We probably need to back this off, and that way they can control the technology. He said it's no more complicated than that. He said we are experiencing right now an actual live action psyop.
Which I will just say, to your point, we have a headline from the Associated Press. Drone operators worry that anxiety over mystery sightings will lead to new restrictions.
Oh, my goodness. So see, I didn't even know that headline existed.
Yeah. So, I mean, you've got 791,597 drones that are registered here, 415,635 remote pilots that are certified. And you're talking about creating more restrictions for that many people, which, by the way, I would like to just point out, I had this conversation with Eric July on Friday, and I do think it's an important conversation to have, that I don't think that we should just allow drones like, I don't want a drone flying above my backyard watching my children. You know what I mean? Like, I think that there do need to be some restrictions for this new technology that we have not yet, when they were writing the laws that are in place now, they didn't have the capacity to think that there could be some sort of drone that could be flown by a civilian that could be doing that, right? So I do think that there are certain places where we should be talking about drone restrictions, just not in the place, I think, Steve, to your point, that the government is trying to accomplish.
Privacy is a genuine concern.
Right.
It absolutely is. And as long as I have the right to shoot them down when they fly over my property, then let's play that game.
Right. Matt, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I've used drones filming before, and I was doing a drone shoot in Malta, and it was near the airport, and they actually shut down the drone. Like, you can't get any further with the drone. It just automatically shuts it down.
Oh, wow.
Which is really, and that's in Malta.
Yeah.
Right. So they do have the technology. My friend said to me this, I was actually talking to him about it the other day, because I put out the theory that maybe they were looking for something, because I think that, I'm not saying that clearly it's not true, but it's definitely the government. Because people saying, well, maybe it's like aliens, maybe it's a foreign country. I'm like, listen, the British Type 45 destroyer can track, because they were saying, we don't know where it's coming from, we don't know this. The British Type 45 destroyer can track every airplane in and out of Heathrow Airport, which is the busiest airport in the world, from Argentina, right? So the argument that they couldn't track them, they didn't know where they were from, is clearly a lie. Mm-hmm. So the only answer was and is that it's from the government. Right. And so he's lying. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is the thing. We know he lies anyway, but he's clearly lying there. And people should be told. Now, did you know that there was one flying over Matt Peterson's house over the weekend?
No.
Because did you know that?
I saw that, right.
His wife tweeted it out, and I'm like, because my wife goes, did you see there was a drone over the Petersons? I was like, what? And you can see it fly along, and then it just goes, pop, and it's gone. And these are obviously people we know, friends of ours, that aren't going to lie.
Yeah.
It was there,
right,
and then it disappeared. So they're doing it here as well in Dallas. And it was
wonderful. Great news abounds.
Yay.
You know what would be funny if they just randomly started doing it to like all of the Blaze people's backyard.
If it was Peterson's house, it was a UFO. It was
Or you're having a shower and it's like there outside. You're like, guys, come on.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and take a quick break, and then we'll be back with more. First, we want to thank our sponsor, the segment Jace Medical. So listen, if the aliens come down, that is what it is. If you believe in aliens, whatever the case may be, you got to be prepared for an alien takeover of any sort. And the way that you are prepared is, people talk about emergency food all the time, but they don't talk about emergency medicine. Especially when you think of, they said all those years ago that the aliens came down and probed people. So you might need like a medicine or an antibiotic, and if that's the case.
Some people are like, please Please let them come down.
So I'm just saying that is where our friends over at Jace Medical, who probably are not very happy with me right now, that is where they come in, because they have this really awesome, in all seriousness, this really awesome, you need it. If you believe in being prepared for an emergency, you need Jace Medical. They've got this this kit, they call it the Jace case, and it has 5 life-saving antibiotics for emergency use only. So you hope that you don't need it, just like emergency food, but it's there in the event that you do. And when you do have it, it can be life-saving. Okay, so go check them out. They've got a whole bunch of different ways to customize it. You can get, an EpiPen if you've got someone in your family who needs one, ivermectin, whatever the case may be. Be prepared with your family. Please go to jace.com. Use promo code Sarah for a discount on your order. That is JASE.com. Enter promo code Sarah for some savings. You know, Donald Trump once said, "You're going to get tired of all the winning. We're going to win so much." I'm sorry, Matt.
You're going to get tired of all the winning. You're going to win so much, you're going to be sick of it.
And you know what? I'm not sick of it yet, because there was another W over the weekend. Donald Trump scored a big win in his defamation suit against ABC. Now, this was ABC News and their anchor, George Stephanopoulos, who reached a $15 million settlement with Donald Trump. And this all stemmed from, I don't know if you guys remember, Stephanopoulos was interviewing Nancy Mace. I believe this was earlier this year. And he continued to repeat a complete lie, which was that Donald Trump was found liable for rape. Watch.
Yes, this morning. And you've endorsed Donald Trump for president. Judges and 2 separate juries have found him liable for rape and for defaming the victim of that rape. How do you square your endorsement of Donald Trump with the testimony we just saw?
Well, I will tell you, I was raped at the age of 16. And any rape victim will tell you, I've lived for 30 years with an incredible amount of shame over being raped. I didn't come forward because of that judgment and shame that I felt. And it's a shame that you will never feel, George. And I'm not going to sit here on your show and be asked a question meant to shame me about another potential rape victim. I'm not gonna do that.
It's actually not about shaming you. It's a question about Donald
Trump. No, you
Trump.
are shaming me.
You've endorsed Donald Trump for president.
Right.
Donald Trump has been found liable for rape by a jury. Donald Trump has been found liable for defaming the victim of that rape by a jury. It's been affirmed by a judge.
It was not a criminal court case, number one. Number two, I live with shame. And you're asking me a question about my political choices, trying to shame me as a rape victim, and I find it disgusting. And quite frankly, E. Jean Carroll's comments when she did get the judgment, joking about what she was going to buy, it makes it harder for women to come forward when they make a mockery out of rape, when they joke about it.
Doesn't it make it harder for women to come forward when they?
It makes it harder when other women joke about it, and she's joked about it. I find it offensive, and I also find it offensive that you're trying to shame me with this question.
I'm not trying to shame you at all. In fact,
I have dealt with this for 30 years. You know how hard it was to tell my story 5 years ago when they were doing a fetal heartbeat bill and there were no exceptions for rape, incest, or rape or incest in there? I had to tell my story because no other woman was coming forward. No rape victims were represented. And you're trying to shame me this morning.
I'm just asking.
And I find it offensive, and this is why women won't come forward.
Women won't come forward because they're defamed by those who perpetrate rape.
They are judged and they're shamed, and you're trying to shame me this morning. I think it's disgusting.
I'm not shaming you at all.
I told my story. It took me 25 years to tell my story. I was judged for it. I still get judged for it today.
I'm asking you a very simple question.
So obviously that was quite the exchange there. But recall that, this all stemmed from the E. Jean Carroll accusation, in which this was a civil matter and the jury found Donald Trump liable for assault, but not rape. In fact, there was a question on the jurors' questionnaire that said no to the rape question. Now, I could get into how bogus I think the entire thing is, but let's just save that for another day because it's not the point. The point is the jurors specifically said they did not believe that he was liable for that. And you'll notice that I don't use the word convicted. There's a lot of, misinformation, I'll use that word again, on what this meant. It was a civil matter. There's no conviction, okay? So he's not a convicted rapist to all of you dummies on Twitter. But so I want to play, she references it there, Nancy Mace. I want to play E. Jean Carroll just totally off her rocker, talking about what she's planning to do with this money. Because remember, she's just a traumatized woman who went through a terrible ordeal. And that's why she's talking like this afterwards. Watch.
You've talked about using some of Trump's money that you're about to get to help shore up women's rights. Do you know what that might be, what that might look like?
Yes, Rachel. Yes.
Tell me.
I had such great ideas for all the good I'm going to do with this money. First thing, Rachel, you and I are going to go shopping. We're going to get completely new wardrobes, new shoes, motorcycle for Crowley, new fishing rod for Robbie. Rachel, what do you want? Penthouse? It's yours,
Nothing.
Rachel. Penthouse and France? You want France? You want to go fishing in France? No? Oh, all right, okay.
That's a joke.
So much trauma.
Oh, well, I grew up just watching that panel right there. Rachel Maddow does something very special to me, the opposite of what a biological
woman should
do to me.
Oh, I thought that was Chris Hayes. No, maybe it was Mark Cuban. I don't know. I get them all confused at the same time.
Going back to Representative Mace, her response to Stephanopoulos, it was brilliant. I mean, she did not let up on him. I mean, put aside the Trump victory right now, she was winning a hardcore victory and showing who she was. That was the part of that story I don't even recall when it was originally said. But can you imagine, though, the difference between saying rape and assault, how much worse it is, and how many other commentators right now and how many other networks are quaking in their boots who have said far more egregious, far more unfactual things and statements about Trump throughout this entire 4, 5, 6, 8 years of lawfare that he's had to face.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, look, if he sues all of them, he's going to be even richer than what he was when he got into office, because, I mean, we see it all the time. And it is a little bit frustrating because you see this perpetrated on social media over and over and over, don't you? You know, about Trump. But what I took from that, I'm watching that with the election in perspective, right? So you come through that. Thank goodness we have Trump is going to be our president. It is so distasteful and disgusting that someone in media should do that. I mean, he knows better, right? He's been doing this for a very, very long time. And we know that the media, the mainstream media, is completely biased, right? We know that. But there's just something especially disgusting about what would that engagement, because again, again, it's my opinion, I'm looking at that. Why not just back off it right there when she says that? Because clearly, if you really did respect someone, you don't keep hammering someone about that. It's like, okay. And again, when you win a victory, I would imagine, over someone who raped you, you don't go shopping for a new pair of friggin' shoes. Right?
If you do, you're not on MSNBC joking about it.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not what you're saying. If you say, I'm going to
Right.
do something for rape victims, I'm going to donate X amount of money, and you take it very seriously, I'm going to donate this amount of money, and I really hope that this is going to forward, you know, having people come forward who haven't said things before, but and not just joke about going fishing in France.
But
it's all weird.
But
Getting
Matt,
Rachel Maddow a penthouse.
right. And
As if she needs...
yeah, she's only
somebody to
making,
help her
what,
with
$30
that.
million a year. I think she can handle it herself. But I mean, to your point, you're talking about a woman who has not demonstrated a basic level of sanity. I mean, you're talking about a woman who went on air. I wish we had this, went on air with Anderson Cooper and said, I think everyone believes that rape is sexy, right? Everyone believes that rape is sexy.
Yeah.
And Anderson Cooper was like, no, I don't think so. And it was a very awkward, strange moment. He had to go to break because you could tell that he was very uncomfortable by what she was saying. This is a woman who has named her, she's named her cat Vagina. She's named her dog Tits. This is not what you would call a stable individual. So out of all of that, to make up and perpetrate these falsehoods, as you point out, and try to pretend like the believable one, the credible one, is that person, is just particularly egregious. And there are a lot of people who said he deserves more than $15 million. Well, I don't think that was the point for him. okay? Because it was $15 million and an apology. And I think that was the point. ABC News acknowledging that they lied about him, which they never want to acknowledge. I think if I were Donald Trump, that would be the point for me. I've already got all the money in the world that I can make, right? My children are already taken care of. My legacy is already taken care of. But if we can avoid the back and forth of courts, they pay for Donald Trump's lawyer, which I read was $1 million in attorney's fees. Okay, so they're paying for his lawyer. So it's like it never happened for him. He's not financially hurt from it. He gets a little bit of an extra bonus money, and he gets to prove the point that you guys this is a different time. You guys don't get to continue lying about me. If it were me, that would be the point.
Yeah, I mean, look, like I said before, the mainstream media has been completely discredited. Like nobody really pays any attention to them. You would hope that there were still good journalists left that would follow an effective line of questioning. And it's clear that ideology has taken over that. And look, unfortunately, we've spoken about this, Sarah, actually, over and over about schools. What you have is you have a whole generation of journalists coming up thinking that is journalism. Mm-hmm. You can speak to this. It's very, very difficult these days to get really good journalists that are impartial.
Well, we have a whole generation of journalists who go to their morning meeting and told what they can write about. And then when they see something that really excites them, they have to run it past their editorial board and find out, do I have permission to talk about this?
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why we've been able to think about this, we have released story after story after story of police corruption in D.C., but the D.C. press, the Washington Post, for God's sakes, ignores all of it.
Yep. Exactly.
Can't, because they're not allowed to write about it.
Right. Yeah, you're exactly right. And boy, when the day comes that they are all just gone and have gone under, we're popping some champagne. That's all I have to say. All right, we've got to take another quick break. We'll be back with more, but we want to thank our sponsor this segment, Relief Factor. So Relief Factor is there for those of you who maybe live in pain.
I took some today.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. You
need to keep taking it.
I opened a bag today.
Keep taking it. So Matt has dealt with just terrible back pain from some back issues that he has going on. And so he has Relief Factor.
I mean, right now, I am saying.
You look happy. You don't look like you're in pain.
I'm not. I'm a little bit, but not much. It's definitely helped.
It's been life-changing for so many people. You, Glenn Beck, it's been life-changing for him. I mean, if you're dealing with constant, really bad pain, nagging pain all day, it affects every facet of your life. So it really can be life-changing. I've used it. Our friend Jakub Bujans has used it. His mom has used it. There are so many success stories here just at Blaze. And so all I'm asking you to do, if you live in pain, knee pain, neck pain, back pain, whatever the case may be. If you live in pain, it's most likely the inflammation that's causing that. This is a very, very potent anti-inflammatory that is not just going to mask your pain. It's actually going to get rid of it. Okay. So go to relieffactor.com, get their 3-week quick start. It's $19.95. And 70% of the people who order that 3-week quick start go on to keep ordering more. That's the amount of people that it's working for. So the odds are in your favor. They've got a guarantee if it doesn't. So you've got nothing to lose except your pain over at relieffactor.com. There's an update in something that we talked about last week. You know, we were just discussing the mainstream media and just how disgusting they can really be. Well, last week we watched CNN's Clarissa Ward free this is what they said was a Syrian prisoner. He had been held captive for 3 months, and it had been, I believe, 5 days since they had been liberated. So presumably this person was by himself on his own, no food, no water for 5 whole days. And I want to play this. Let's just relive some of this CNN segment. Watch.
Is there someone there? Is someone there? Or is it just a blanket? I don't know.
Hello?
Okay, it's just
Kick it.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. It's a well-dressed, well-groomed
I'm a civilian,
man.
he says. I'm a civilian.
A civilian.
It's okay. It's okay.
Doesn't doesn't look like he hasn't eaten in 5 days.
Straight up.
Right up,
He
right
tells
up.
the fighter he's from the city of Humps and has been in the cell for 3 months.
Where has he been using the
Okay,
bathroom?
you're okay. You're okay. You're okay. After 3 months in a
Look at
windowless
that
cell,
jacket.
he can
And
finally
look at him
see the
stare
sky.
right at the sun. Right at the sun he stares. Which is what you would do if you've been in the dark for 3 months, right? You just stare right at the sun with wide
The
eyes.
light, he says. Oh God, there is light. My God, there is light.
So that's enough. So, we had some questions on Friday, okay? And I'd like to just inform you guys that the Syrian fact checkers have now come out and explained that this man who Clarissa Ward at CNN claimed was freed actually is an Assad regime henchman known to be a notorious killer and torturer. He gave a false name of Adel Gerbel. The actual name is Salama. I don't know the pronunciation on that, guys. I'm doing my best. Salama. I know what it sounds like. Salama Mohammed Salama, who was a first lieutenant in Syrian Air Force intelligence. And so now there is, CNN is investigating the matter with Clarissa Ward. And I just got to tell you, it couldn't happen to a more deserving network.
I want to know more about Syrian fact checkers.
I do as well.
I didn't know there was such a thing.
I did not as well. But I mean, you had to know while you were watching that, like, this is all staged. Where was this man going to the bathroom for the last 5 days, if not the last 3 months? Why are his nails why is he wearing a brand new coat? He doesn't look like a man who has spent 3 months in the slammer with his, well-groomed beard and whatnot. It's just like nothing about this makes sense. And of course, now you find out the truth.
If he had been in there for 90 days, she would not have been able to get close to him. She would have been repelled, like physically, convulsively pushed away, like, the reverse of a magnet, force field, because of the odor that would have been there. And she had no problem whatsoever.
Right.
I don't believe that was compassion.
I mean, well, but again, where was he relieving himself for the last 5 days? Because that would have been something to smell as well. And I didn't see anything there. There was nothing blurred. There was nothing there. They didn't show the whole cell, but you would think that they would have taken the opportunity to react to that. No reaction and staring right up at the sun, Matt.
Yeah, it's like edgy, investigative journalism, right? Like they go in, they don't think for 5 seconds that he's immaculately dressed. By the way, in the majority of those prisons, they'll go and kick the crap out of him like routinely on a daily basis, right? They'll go in and just give him a bit of a ding, just cause, right? But even the way he got up, if he hadn't eaten in 5 days, I mean, look, I have fasted for 5 days personally.
We know,
yeah, but he's going to get up. He's going to be a little bit weak, and he's certainly going to be, his bones are going to be a little bit stiff. And he just hops up there, and he's like, the light. It's honestly, it's like it's like a Babylon Bee sketch.
And the pristine, clean jacket would have been stolen by a prison guard.
Yes. Yeah, or tattered, dirty. I mean, they didn't even try. That's the thing, is like you have this woman who is just used to everyone buying her nonsense that she did not even try to make it look believable. We played a video Friday of her several months ago in Gaza, and Matt, you would have loved this Academy Award winning performance.
At least they try.
Sure.
Make an effort.
Okay, let me, how long is this, Stephen?
It's like 40 seconds.
Okay, yeah. Let's watch that.
Gaza is in that direction. We can hear now a lot of jets in the sky. We could also hear the Iron Dome intercepting a number of those rockets as they were whizzing overhead and making impact in that direction. We can get up now. Where are we moving to? Sorry, just 1 second, guys.
They're just on the ground.
I just love you've covered this like twice now. You love this.
I do. They're just on the ground.
This is where those militants first came.
Where?
Opening up fire on all these vehicles. There's a baby carriage down there, turned over on its side.
Like, she just planted herself on the ground. There's no cover.
You should do a little sketch like that, like outside. Like, we're in the war zone.
With the camera all the way down.
Okay, it's okay. They're so lame.
Like, I mean, you guys just missed it. If only you would have started watching like 2 minutes ago, you missed all the action. But let me tell you, my life was in danger, okay? These people are just despicable
Do you remember the one where the guy was like, it's so windy, and then the guys are walking behind, or he's like, it's the water's everywhere, and people are like splashing behind. It's so great.
So good. All right, let's go ahead and by the way, again, couldn't happen to a more deserving group of people. So let's get into more after the break, but we want to thank our sponsor this segment, Craftco's Fox and Odin. And I'd be lying if I told you that I still had water in my cup, because we have a whiskey sponsor. Why not drink it? All right. So whatever. Steve, cheers.
Cheers.
And so Fox and Odin.
Cheers. I can cheers.
Cheers with your water.
Cheers with
your
my water. There you go.
And so Fox and Odin is rooted in Michigan. It's American made. And these whiskeys they're just wonderful. Okay. So however you celebrate this season, odds are you're going to be with your in-laws. And you owe it to yourself to stock up on Fox and Odin Craft American Whiskey. You can buy online at foxandodin.com. Use code America for free shipping. That is foxandodin.com. I'm being serious. This is actually a really great whiskey. And we do whiskey at our house. Okay, so foxandodin.com, promo code America for free shipping. Well, doctors in this country are now using shield laws to get around Texas's abortion laws. And our attorney general here in the great state of Texas, Ken Paxton, the country's greatest attorney general, I might add, is fighting back. So in case you guys don't know, a shield law is a law that protects workers who are just doing their jobs from legal action being taken against them. So this particular law, it started with protecting journalists from revealing confidential information. Some states now include healthcare workers, and specifically New York's SHIELD law. It says it enables willing doctors to send abortion pills to recipients in other states where the pill is illegal. So Ken Paxton taking legal action, as he does, to stop New York from usurping Texas law. He released a statement that said, in Texas, we treasure the health and lives of mothers and babies, and this is why out-of-state doctors may not illegally and dangerously prescribe abortion-inducing drugs to Texas residents. And so he has started this process by suing New York doctor Margaret Carpenter for sending a 20-year-old woman from Collin County abortion pills that led to, of course, unforeseen side effects. And he is suing her for $100,000 each time she illegally prescribed abortion medication to Texas residents. Yeah. Yeah. And of course, she's not licensed to practice medicine in Texas. So you, of course, have Ken Paxton fighting for the state of Texas at every chance that he gets. And not even necessarily about abortion, but about the topic of federalism, right? About the topic of states' rights. Right. And you can't have New York interfering in Texas law, whether it be, the border or abortion or whatever the case may be. You can't do that when this person is, of course, a Texas resident and living in Texas and getting these things mailed to them. So we'll see how it plays out in the courts, but we do have a fighter as our Texas attorney general.
Can Texas start sending busloads of these leftist commie death cult doctors to New York City and let them live with the illegal immigrants that we've shipped up there?
That's a great idea,
I think that's actually what we ought to start doing, because Texas has already set the precedent.
Right. Yeah. So anyone who just does not belong here, we'll just ship you out. And
New York, specifically.
Yeah, honestly, I don't mind my tax dollars going to that. It's got to be a one-way ticket, though. A one-way bus ticket. You're not getting back in. And I'm okay with that.
Look,
you speak as the not just an England refugee, but a California refugee.
Absolutely. And I actually, like I was saying, I went to the doctor's this morning for my neck, and my doctor that I went to see was totally based, and it was amazing. It was very, how can I put this? It was just a great experience. Let's put it like that. But I've got to say, Sarah, although we love having Ken here, I do think they really messed up not making him the AG. I think that's it.
I agree.
He would have been great.
And look, Pam Bondi, there's a couple of things she did. I'm like, But
specifically on the Second Amendment.
yeah,
gun
about the red
rights.
flag laws is very problematic. Look, again, I think that she'll get in line, but Ken Paxton, man, we really missed an opportunity there. We really missed an opportunity.
I agree. There are a lot of people who said, well, you wouldn't want to, these are Texans, by the way, who said, well, you wouldn't want to move him from the state of Texas because we love him and he's a fighter. And it's like, right, but hold on. When you don't have the Biden regime perpetrating all sorts of abuses of power on us as the state, it becomes less useful or less meaningful to have that fighter at the state level, when instead you would want the guy who understands federalism and understands states' rights to be at the helm of the federal level, because then he wouldn't be abusing the power at the state level.
But just in case Texas needs to secede in 4 years, it might have been a good idea to keep some good people. People.
Don't worry, we're gonna have a good 12 years, man.
12.
12.
Oh yeah.
Really?
You're going 8 with JD as well, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think we're about to go into an unprecedented time of being prosperous. I really do. I think Trump is going to be amazing, and I think JD Vance is going to do 2 terms.
What do you think happens in the midterms this year?
It depends. I mean, I don't know how they're reacting. I mean, look, if it's going to be the way that the Californians do it, right, so that they're going to continue counting for until they get the votes they need to win. Yeah. But I think if we start seeing some change, which it's going to be bumpy, right? It's going to be bumpy. I think it's going to be great. I think we're in for a really great time.
Yeah, I said, I was talking with Stu earlier, and I said, I think that there's going to be some rocky roads ahead of us, but you just have to brace yourselves and wait for the stabilization, because there will be a stabilization that takes place. There will be stabilization on the issue of the border. There will be stabilization on the issue of the economy. There will be stabilization on all of these issues that are why people elected Donald Trump. But the thing that the American people have to look out for is, of course, the mainstream media trying to demonize him for the reason he got elected, right? He's tearing families apart at the border. You're going to get all of these pictures that look really, really uncomfortable, but are necessary for the safety and security of this country. And if we can just get past that, then is, I think, where the prosperous
Well, I think that what we have to do, I think people know that. They know that he's going to do that.
Yeah. That's why they voted for him.
That's why they voted for him. You're like, okay.
But it feels uncomfortable when you're watching it play out, I think. But there are a lot of Americans who are not, I don't mean to disrespect them, but they're not watching the show if they are, but who are not strong enough, I think, to stomach watching it.
But this is the same thing. Unfortunately, we were heading for doom under Kamala, and what would have happened was they would have had to have taken over a lot more things. It would have been a more militant, more communist government. But I think that in the same way when you're looking at the economy, everybody knows that this is unsustainable right now. We have to change it, and it's going to be painful for a little bit. But what is going to be past that, like you said, is going to be amazing. I also do think, though, that we cannot take our foot off the gas. And this is what we constantly do. We go, oh, we won.
Look, drill, baby, drill.
Yep.
Energy. And the midterms will take care of themselves.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. All right, let's go ahead and take a quick break. We'll be right back. We talked about the drones earlier. Okay, I think, God, I miss this so much. I missed Donald Trump's mean tweets. All right, I don't know if that makes me a bad person. I don't care. I just miss them. He went on Twitter and Truth Social, and I think he uncovered the explanation for the reason of the drone activity in New Jersey. There it is. It's just drones delivering delivering McDonald's to Chris Christie.
Maybe the most perfect meme in history.
So good. And now there was a meme going around with Barron. Yeah, Barron hovering over, for those of you who are listening on audio, Barron hovering over Donald Trump in the Oval Office saying, "Yes, Father, use Grok to generate an image of New Jersey drones delivering McDonald's to that fat slob Chris Christie. Perfect. Now post it on X." Because, of course, we know Barron was apparently the one behind Donald Trump, a lot of Donald Trump's strategy, this particular campaign. But I That was. Can we see the? Yep, there it is.
It's so great.
I miss this so much. Again, I don't know what that says about me as a person, but I kind of don't care. It's funny.
Well, he deserves
Objectively
it as well,
funny.
doesn't he? He deserves
He does deserve it.
because he's a. Yeah, I'm not going to say what I think he is.
Why not?
I don't know, but tell me about the dogs again. Can you do it?
Listen, Stephen. Can we just? I mentioned that E. Jean Carroll called her cat what? What was it, Stephen?
Her dog or her cat was named Vagina.
I'll drink. I'll drink to that. Yeah.
Vagina.
It's a day that will live in infamy.
Vagina.
It's just, we are so back, guys. We are so back. We have 4 years of this. And I'm really excited. Gentlemen, thank you. There it is.
Or her cat was named Vagina.